do not do that. Alcohol's absolutely forbidden in Iran at this point. So until I'm not going to say until further notice.
Don't do that. Welcome to Ask an Iranian. We are a resource for those that are curious about Iran and Iranians and maybe feel that the conventional sources aren't necessarily representing the whole story. And of course, we are therefore a means for Iranians who are maybe frustrated by that and want to present their story. I am your host, David. I'm half Iranian and grew up outside of Iran, but live in the country now. And I'm here with my co-host, Mohammad.
Hello, I'm Mohammad. I'm fully Iranian, and although I grew up here in Iran, I've had my head in many other cultures as well.
So our aim is to get answers to your questions, either ourselves or by putting it to the Iranians in our audience. So let's get on with the show and get on with answering your questions. In this episode, we have a question by Murat. What souvenirs should I bring for my Iranian friends? This is a good question, and my guess is that Murat has experienced this because souvenirs for Iranians is a big thing. It's a big part of the culture. When Iranians travel abroad, they often come back. You have to come back with a souvenir, or if you are maybe for the first time, like Murat probably experienced going to Iran, he knew that he needed to bring some souvenirs with him.
Yeah, souvenirs from friends or family when they're coming back from abroad is something like a Christmas gift. You don't want to pass on that.
Yes, do not come short on the souvenirs. This is a big warning for you. And my first experience of this was, once again, coming back to the story of when I first came to Iran as an adult. My father gave me a long list of uncles, sizes and shirt styles that I should take care of, that I should go out and buy before arriving in Iran, and it took me about a week, I think, to go around various stores. My uncles are various sizes and have various sort of preferences for style, so it was quite difficult. But I think this is an indication, Mohammed, and you tell me if I have this right. Clothing scores big points, is a big point scorer for a person coming to Iran.
No, absolutely, you're right. And the thing is that I had the same trouble. The first time I went abroad, I don't have a huge extended family. I didn't have a huge number of friends, or at that time I had a few colleagues that I wanted to bring souvenirs for. So I ended up putting something close to 40 people on the list that I had to bring souvenirs for, and that's a lot. I spent around like half a week going to different stores, buying things for each one separately, or buying things in bulk for a bunch of other people who are not ever going to meet or whatever, so they don't go mad if I get the same souvenir for them as the other people.
In my experience of this souvenir game is I mean, it can dominate a trip abroad. I mean, you go abroad for a holiday, for some fun, but you're preoccupied throughout the whole of the holiday thinking, what are you going to bring back? I mean, you're almost not on holiday because you're taking care of that situation. I remember actually on one occasion, I thought I'd mix it up because, I travel abroad fortunately or unfortunately frequently. So upon returning, I have to bring something back, and gradually you go through phases of gifts, and I thought I'd go to on one occasion bring back fancy confectionery from a Fortnum Mason's in London, an amazing store. If you haven't been, I recommend it if you're in London. And I think I was there for like 3 hours, and it's complicated because something that is good, in all honesty, it was not the place to go to get souvenirs, because it means Fortnum Mason's has an amazing variety of great things to bring back as souvenirs, but a lot of it is lost on the Iranian, and probably this is a tip, pro tip for people wanting to visit Iran. scale, I think, is an important part. Again, we said clothing scoring you big points, but the size of something also. Iranians can often sort of measure your gift by the size of it, not necessarily by the quality. And of course, Fortnum Mason's has tiny little cute biscuits that cost an absolute fortune, which I brought back for my grandmother and my auntie at the time, and they sort of politely sort of looked at it like, there's like 3 biscuits in here, and those 3 biscuits I think cost like £20 from Fortnum Mason.
Yeah. So if you're not sure about your Iranian friend, for the person who you are getting the souvenir for, and what they like, go big. Don't go small.
Exactly.
I mean, because like
go big, then go home.
The thing is that like we go big on meals, on cars, on fridges, and souvenirs.
And Mohammed, I find actually it's not even, you don't even get to the point where you yourself go out and choose. You get told what to bring back in a lot of occasions.
Well,
as an Iranian going abroad and coming back, they will tell you exactly what they want.
Yeah, sometimes I had that experience. But the thing is that like your girlfriend, your wife, your very close friend, your sibling will definitely tell you what they want. The point I'm going to put out at this point is that the culture is slightly shifting, because there are like people are getting more used to the people who are flying out of Iran and coming back, and that kind of like expectation is kind of going low. It is sort of fading in some in some circles, and specifically
so
for
if you come
those.
back, sorry to interrupt, Mohammed, if you come back empty-handed, it's not necessarily going to reflect badly upon you, is that?
It depends on your circle. What circle are we talking about? Specifically those who have traveled and tried getting like a specific souvenirs, big ones, valuable ones for the people who are in Iran, and they know that is a hassle, that it's not only a hassle, it's basically a full-time job on your vacation. You have to go through a lot to do that. So they understand if you don't bring them much. So maybe I would say like candy is good. Chocolate is awesome.
And actually, I want to add upon that chocolate. Yeah, but if you can get like a big box of mini chocolates or whatever celebrations, roses, whatever they may be, you'll score some points in the office with this one, because heaven forbid you turn up at an office and don't have something to distribute among the staff here. So if you're going on holiday, again, this is actually probably more for Iranians, obviously, who work here, for the foreigners among us. I mean, if you're going to be actually that would probably happen for expats or people traveling in for work. Be sure to bring in something that is, that has multiples within it, that can be, so a box could be passed around the office. Take a biscuit, pass it on, for example. Take a chocolate, pass it on. Chocolate's better than biscuits, I would say. I think I've tried that one.
Yeah, well, and the thing is that I have to warn you about something, because I have seen that it's customary for a lot of people to bring their local wine or alcohol or schnapps to for the people who are meeting in the other country. Do not do that. Alcohol's absolutely forbidden in Iran at this point. So until further notice,
don't do that. Also, similarly, I mean, chocolates with liquor in them or alcohol within them. You can buy these at the airport. I believe in Istanbul, I've seen this, and in Dubai, where these things can be brought in to Iran. It's interesting because I wanted to add here the reverse of this scenario, because having lived in Iran for all these years now, the sort of souvenir culture has sort of rubbed off on me, I guess. And now it's gotten to the point where when I go and visit England and visit friends in England, I need to take souvenirs for them. Now, they're not expecting these things. It goes down well. I score points with them. But over the years, I've been bringing back sort of Iranian sort of craft items, minakari as we call it, or little items that are sort of a part of arts and crafts in Iran. And I try as best I can to explain the history behind them. They, in a lot of cases, take up a lot of room in my luggage. And one year I actually just didn't have time to go out and take care of these, and there wasn't anything appropriate at the airport, or everyone had everything. I'd already in previous visits brought items that were available in the airport. So I kind of jokingly, when I met them, said, I brought these back, and had a packet of what are known as Bahman. These are tiny cigarettes, almost like the chocolate cigarettes in England, if for those in our audience who are familiar with the mini chocolate cigarettes, in a paper sort of soft paper package. So these Bahman cigarettes, I said, I've got you these, and they maybe were or weren't smokers, but nevertheless, these were like, wow, this, most of my English friends were blown away by, these are cute, what are these?
We should keep that content for another question where it's called what souvenirs to take from Iran for.
I know, I just wanted to explain the how I've now absorbed this culture, and now it's sort of something that I do, but on this one occasion, Bahman cigarettes, they went down really well, so that was fun.
So I was thinking maybe if you are coming to Iran and you have an Iranian friend and you want to go with a little bit of humor, maybe you want to bring them some saffron or pistachio or Iranian cigarettes you can get from the airport and give it to them, and they're going to be pissed off, really.
Yeah, they're going to look at you very strangely, and you won't be square. You'll be losing big points.
You might get a good laugh, by the way.
So, thank you, Murad, for your question. That was a great question, and brought back a lot of memories of the pain of souvenir shopping whilst being away. If you yourself have visited Iran, let us know what you brought. Add that to the comments or below any of the social media posts. Thank you for joining us on this show. We hope we've helped settle your curiosity on this matter. If you're Iranian and think we've done a terrible job, then great. Get yourself over to askaniranian.com or Ask an Iranian on various social media platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Please go there and politely tell us what we've missed. I'm sure there's a lot. We, of course, don't claim to speak for all Iranians, so your input is much welcomed.
If you have any questions that we can put to an Iranian, you could go on Twitter and ask us, reply to any of our posts, or simply email us at questions@askaniranian.com.
Do join us on the next episode where we'll be finding answers to more of your questions for Iranians. Thank you for joining us. از وقتی سفر کردی منو خونین جگر کردی